On this week's episode of Garage Talk, we're going to look at our week in iRacing.
Then we're going to take a look at IndyCar, where Alex Palou is the season champion already.
And Will Power giving middle finger. No, just kidding. And we'll close out with the discussion of NASCAR at Watkins Glen, the track limits, and Connor Zilich's unfortunate fall right now. Welcome to an all new episode of FR Racing's Garage Talk. I'm DJ Flook.
I'm Eric Richardson.
And Eric, I don't think you're there by yourself, are you?
No, I do have a special guest, just hanging out with me in my arms, but probably gonna stay off camera here.
Yes, Eric is holding a child. You just can't see. So we're gonna make this get moving here quickly. You've got a lot to talk about in a short amount of time. Uh, just real quick on Wednesday Night Dash debut this week, and I'm stunned. We went 70 laps on a very slick racetrack that's very hard on tires, and somehow no cautions.
Yeah, we were in caution free.
There were two little minor incidents that didn't draw a caution. People kept going, didn't draw a caution, but
Yeah, I actually caught the wall off at turn 4, but kept it moving, so there's definitely no caution for that.
I actually had a decent qualifying run.
Yeah, you
And
qualified me.
yeah, I qualified in the top half of the pack. I was feeling pretty good. And then this weird thing happened where I kind of scraped the wall and I lost the group in front of me, but the group behind me was like 2 seconds off. So I was like in this no man's land where there's like 2 seconds in front of me, 2 seconds behind me. And I tried to push it as long as I could, hoping for that caution before, to avoid a green flag pit stop, because it's always been my issue is green flag pit stops.
Hey, you led
Yeah.
a lap too.
I did because I was the very last person to pit on the cycle. It was me and John Miles were the last two out, and I saw John pitting, and I'm like, I can go another like 3 laps, and I'm like, I gotta at least cross the line first here, and I did, and then I pit the next time by, and I I on the front right tire, the center, it goes, when it was telling me my percentages left, it said 5%. I'm like, how is that even possible? Like in real life, that tire would have went down at that point.
Yeah, you definitely been courting at that point.
I'm like, how is that even possible? But yeah, the front center, I went back and checked it. It said 5%. I just destroyed those tires and like I went 50, I think 52 laps on a tire run,
I
which
think that's about right.
do not advise that. And
You
then
know,
yeah,
I basically did the same thing.
but on the second, yeah, you because you stopped early because of your
Yeah,
incident.
I was actually coming up to you, and then I had a couple unfortunate times in one and two, so I was running a little bit higher the whole night that I brushed the wall, and these cars are like magnets and can't get off. You lose momentum.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
so I got buried back in the field. Then I think I'm running 16th and coming off of four, got loose, popped the wall. Not a meatball, but my steering was not straight. So I'm like, I'm pitting. So I made it the rest of the way, but man,
At the end, there's nothing left. And then I locked up. Like I had a pretty conservative entrance into the pit because I didn't want to lock up and spin on entry. Because that pit road where you actually enter, if you enter from the track, that's a pretty quick exit. And so I actually went in on turn 3 in between 3 and 4 and went on the apron to enter because
I
I
saw a
just
lot of cars doing that last
yeah,
night.
I didn't trust the couple of cars I did see do that drop off, almost every single one of them ate it trying to
I
enter
was
that way.
slow, but I did do the drop off.
And so then I get to my pit box and I go to brake and I lock up and crash into the wall on the
Oops.
end. And it's like too far left. And I'm like trying to back up and I probably lost a good, I don't know, 8 or 10 seconds, which cost me a place or two in the end. But it's just the just banking on that caution that never came and just hosed me in the end.
Yeah,
But
I was really hoping for a caution there after everybody made green flag stops.
that was my
And
that's why I stayed out.
hopefully,
I'm just like, could you
hoping there that
imagine?
like last 10 to 12 laps, if we could get a caution, I would have been sitting very good. I almost went 2 laps down, but I came out right in front of Colton and he got within a half second of me. I'm like, oh no, gotta go, gotta go. Crew chief is like, let the leader by. I'm like, no, I gotta
No,
stay 1 lap down.
no,
I'm
absolutely
in a
not.
lucky dog. I gotta stay here. But luckily, I'm on fresh tires, and even after 24 laps, those were starting to get worn. So luckily, I stayed there. But no, how did I end up 10th?
I don't know. I
If
mean,
it
I know
was
how
a
I end
couple
up
laps
13th.
shorter, I could have been eighth.
I'm just
Just
watching everybody green flag pit stop, and I just see myself going up the standings. I'm like, well, I gotta lead a lap. I want my bonus point, and
I was hoping to have a
uh, you know what's kind of embarrassing? Um, so I had the pole in the Daytona race a couple years ago in the truck race, and I led the first handful of laps there. But outside of that Daytona race, last night is the first lap I've ever led all the time.
I was telling you last night, I don't know if I should be happy about my end result because I was just dismal in the first 20 laps and just going backwards like a rock. And then somehow, like, oh, I'm pitting. I'm going to be on way old tires. And like, wait, I'm going to be top 10.
I just, yeah, just the strategy, just hoping for that caution, didn't just never came. Whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah, it was a fun race, though.
It was, and we're gonna go to Gateway. I think we're gonna see some cautions there. That is a tough track.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
we'll see some cautions, especially with really having to hit the brakes going into one there.
yeah, one is it's almost got that like road course as an oval feel to it, and it just it's like you almost have to like brake earlier than you think you would on turn one.
And the braking on this track, a couple of years ago, we saw what 3 or 4 cars, their brake rotors exploding
Yeah,
because they get so hot and the track is small enough. They don't have time to really get that airflow back on them and cool off, and
it's only a mile and a quarter,
you just see them start going.
but that'll be interesting. Yeah, we I wouldn't say goofed on the schedule, but next week's going to be brutal because we've got bottom split at Texas on Monday. We got Indy on Tuesday at Milwaukee. We've got Wednesday night
Lucky,
dash at Gateway on Wednesday. Can you imagine a 3 day brutal stretch right there? That is three completely different drives.
yeah, I won't
And
be running on Monday, so I don't have to worry about
um,
the Texas.
I mean, Texas isn't. I mean, it's like when Texas is like, "Hey, Texas isn't too bad." That's a bad sign for your week when you're like Texas. That's the easiest one of the week. And then Friday, our GT series is back finally, and we'll be doing. I should have scheduled it for this week, but whatever. Uh, but yeah, we'll be Indianapolis prepping for the Indy 6 hours. So we canceled the last broadcast because the attendance wasn't great, and I ended up just jumping in and driving. And I think we'll treat it the same way. If the attendance looks like it's pretty good, we'll broadcast. If not, we'll cancel and we'll just run a session and see how it goes. And
I'm hoping I can jump in and run it this time.
yeah, it's just the thing is the broadcast, even though it would have been 2 cars for Spa. It would have been pretty interesting. They had some good battles going, but it's just when your field is that small, it's hard to keep it interesting. So it's
Yep.
yeah, I'm to the point where it's like, yeah, having that broadcast has been helpful and helping grow the channel, but
I think if we had 2 people on the broadcast, then it'd be much easier than
yeah,
just doing it by yourself.
oh yeah, for sure. But it's yeah, it's just one person by yourself with 2 cars. It's just like that's just not like entertaining, and it's to the point now we got to look at quality over quantity. It's like we got three really good broadcasts going Monday, Tuesday,
Mhm.
Wednesday, and if we don't broadcast on Friday, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I
Yeah, if
would
we get
have
the turnout,
before.
that'd be great. But
Yeah, we'll
yeah,
play it
in
by
three
ear.
leagues that are really running solid right now.
I'm yeah, I'm really happy, and we did get a late entry into Indy. that we got to get them onboarded next week. So
Yep.
it's good. We still have space. You know, we can prorate you in at fracingonline.com/IRWS.
Yeah, you can come in at any point
Any point,
until
we'll
we
prorate you in.
kind of fill in or fill up, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we want to have a good size Indy race to end the year is the goal. So
I
we'll,
think we will.
I think we
I
will.
think
But
we're going to see 25 plus cars come that one.
can you imagine if we ran 33 cars? But it's like 33 cars having to start two by two. That's it's a long stretch of cars. But yeah, I'm
I think we'll see a good size for our 250-mile Hoosier 250 at the end of the Indy
Hoosier
season.
Hoosier 250.
Don't want any
Our
copyright
That's
claims.
right. Our dancing around the copyrights where it's like, you know, Indy Racing World Series. We're not the IndyCar World Series. We're not the Indy Racing League. We're the Indy Racing World Series, which is not trademarked, by the way.
There was a similar name back in the
There was.
90s,
They let it
but
expire.
wasn't trademarked and it expired.
Yeah, they let it expire. But
We
we
should we should go in and copyright it and claim it. Like, hey, you gave it up.
it's ours
And if
now.
they want to come back to it,
Well, there's
want
a
it.
funny side story there, real quick, before we jump into the real racing stuff, is that a comedian bought the intellectual property for the name Enron, and he restarted Enron and created like a whole social media page, is like putting out videos and stuff. And he's like, Enron, we're here to regain your trust after like the largest corporate scandal. And it's so well done that you look like you're like, is this like, if you didn't know this guy was a comedian, you think he was being serious. And sometimes even watching it, knowing the guy's a comedian, it's like, is he trying to really start a company again? But you know, it's still it's very funny. And but this guy, yeah, he just went and somehow purchased the Enron IP out of like bankruptcy court or something, and now using it as an elaborate joke, which is really funny, by the way. But
Enron was a case study that we did in my white collar crime class back in college.
yeah, I did the case study on that. Very fascinating. And the it's a book that was also turned into a documentary of the smartest people in the room. Excellent. Both the book and the movie are really good. Uh, so moving on to real racing. IndyCar went to Portland. The TV ratings were okay.
They're coming up is what, a little
Uh,
over 700,000.
yeah. I mean, they had some pretty poor ratings looking back the last couple of years, but race itself was pretty decent.
There was at least a three car battle for the win.
Not involving Alex Palou, but hey, you know what?
He was right there.
He was.
What did he end up? Third?
I think he ended
Second?
up. Yeah, I think he ended up third that week. But I mean, you could tell it's just like let's just get this championship locked up. And I mean, I think if he would have, I think he could have pushed and made a better fight for the win. I think that was just let's be competitive, but let's be safe at the same time and get
Yeah,
this thing locked
unfortunately,
up.
Pato had an electrical issue at the beginning of the race, and that pretty much just took any chance out.
I like that the electrical issue, and Will Buxton's like they're trying to control alt delete the car.
Yeah, I didn't turn in until
Like this is
about halfway through the
such a
race.
good line, and it's true. It's true. These cars are more computer than they are car nowadays. It's hilarious, but sad at the same time.
Yeah, I think the biggest storyline from the race, it's not Alex Palou winning the title. It's not Will Power winning the race and finally getting Penske in victory circle. It's beef with Connor Daly and Christian Rasmussen.
Yeah, that is Connor. Somebody pointed out on Connor's podcast this week, and people are like, is he okay?
He
Just
took a big hit.
yeah, it just like he was saying some. I mean, I haven't heard the interview. I just saw kind of highlight, you know, and it's like how he says it versus how you see it in print can be two totally different things.
Yeah, I've only seen parts of it, and I
But
haven't seen a great angle of the his bigger crash. You like catch on at the as he's going off track. I've not seen a great shot from right before.
yeah, this was posted on Reddit, just kind of highlighting it. And he said, "Can we get a wellness check on Connor? Make sure he didn't have like a traumatic brain injury." And he said that he wishes he got seriously hurt in the accident. Then he goes on to claim ECR would like to see him carried off in a caution, like, or caution, coffin. And like, that's,
Yeah, keep in mind, a couple of seasons ago, he was an ECR driver and they let him go mid-season,
and
and the
he's carried
car
carried some beef
didn't
there.
perform even after he got replaced. So I can see where that goes. Like, hey, give me a car and I'll perform better. Then he got into a better car and he's done well. Yeah, early was that start. Rasmussen ran him, actually both cars off the road. And then I don't know exactly what happens. That's where the bad angle comes in. I guess they got into it again. Well, I guess going into a turn, Daly dives on him. They bump a little, if I remember right. But after that, I don't fully know.
And
I'm sure we
then
have a listener going, how do you not know this?
it's
Say,
fine.
I've seen the video. Okay.
So it's the also, I believe we're around the anniversary of the Will Power double bird to the scores booth, the iconic.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, that guy. So another interesting fact I learned about Portland, I was reading a summary and they Portland International Raceway was built on the grounds of a former town called Vanport. And yeah, if you're not familiar with Portland, Portland sits right on the Oregon-Washington border, separated by the Columbia River. And there's like not like an island, but it's just kind of this peninsula area that the track sits on. Right, you're almost right there at the state line. And so Vanport is Vancouver, Washington, which is the town right on the Washington side, and then Portland, Oregon. So it was Vanport. And it was created as a public housing project in like the 1940s when they were building all the shipyards out there. And in 1948, they had a lot of snow that it melted, ended up in the Columbia River, completely flooded and destroyed this town. And it destroyed all this housing. And they said in today's dollars, it was like $102 million in damage. Like 100 people died from this. I mean, it was awful. And and it ultimately drove, like, if you've ever been out in Oregon on the Columbia River, there's a bunch of dams as you go throughout there. And those were, not only getting power generation out of it, but they were actually meant to control the flow so it wouldn't flood again. And so you get this town that gets completely destroyed, and then it's like, let's just build a racetrack on it. Yeah. That's like, and it's just like I was reading about this, and it's a really, really horrible story that it just probably deserves a little bit more attention than a one sentence footnote in the paragraph about the track. But it's a very interesting story that you should check it out. There's a lot of good Oregon history projects written about it, but it's a really fascinating but terrible story on the grounds of what this track is built today. Uh, NASCAR, we went to
Kind of a
Watkins
wild
Glen.
weekend
Yeah.
in both races.
Yeah, and one for what happened after the race. Um,
Yeah, kind of
Con
Zilisch
Connor
wins again.
Connor Dumpty sat on a wall or climbed on the top of his car. Connor Dumpty had a great fall. Uh,
Yeah, foot slipped on the window net and he went crashing down.
it just that was he slipped and then he got his foot stuck, and then the foot getting stuck, it looked like is
That's
what.
what really
Yeah.
threw him off.
And he wasn't moving after it, and this was right on live TV, like.
Yeah, this is victory circle. Like, just got out of the car.
Falls, breaks his collarbone, no hit injury, fortunately, but it's just like, oh my, I've never seen something like that happen. I mean, I've seen drivers kind of slip. It's like, they're, especially in NASCAR, they're spraying beers and Cokes everywhere. And I've seen drivers slip, but nothing like that.
Yeah, I
I,
haven't seen that
I've
either.
never seen a major injury come out of a victory celebration like that, especially in a something like I've never seen that before. Um, you know, Best wishes. Hopefully,
Yeah, hopefully he gets recovered here soon and can get
I,
back at it.
that's collarbone's a tough one because like they put like the pins in to hold it back in place, but it's like when you're driving and you get all those G forces and you're cranking that wheel, and I don't remember which was it his left.
I
I
don't
think
remember
I think
right
it was
off.
I don't know, but it's just like I feel like a collarbone injury would be tough to come back from and get back in a car with all that force that you're putting on your shoulder and that I don't know. I just they've got the week off in the Xfinity series with the rest of the groups going to Richmond, Trucks and Cup. But it's like, do you really expect him back in the car 2 weeks after breaking his collarbone?
I think he's planning on
I mean,
trying,
of course he's
but we'll
planning on
see.
it, but is it realistic? Like
Because
that's
you got to wonder what happens if you get caught in a big one.
I mean, he's
Can you
already had the
re-injure
back
yourself?
injury this year at Talladega. Yeah, that was this year.
Hmm.
And after that, he came back from his back. He missed a race, came back from his injury, and just has been on a tear ever since. And then this, and it's just there's it reminded me of a scene, that really terrible movie Grown Ups 2, the Adam Sandler, Chris Rock. Have you ever seen that?
I have.
You know the part where he's teaching his son how to kick a field goal and his
Yep.
kids just drilling the field goals and they're backing up and he's like, "All right, I'm going to put some pressure on you." And Adam Sandler trips over the sprinkler head, falls on his kid and breaks his kicking foot. And so like the football coach is watching and like, "Who is this kid?" Then he breaks his foot and he's like, "Oh, so much for that." Walks away. And I just got that vibe where it's just like, did Connor just destroy his phenom status? Like, will he ever be the same? Because it's like you think back to like Steve Park, for example. Steve Park was kind of going to be that guy. And then he had that really nasty crash where like his wheel broke and he veered out under a caution and got nailed by the car coming around for the lucky dog and was never the same after
Hmm.
that. And it's just like, is Connor like is this going to destroy? I mean, it's obviously too soon to tell, but is this going to destroy his career? And it's like
That'd be interesting to see. Definitely.
it's just like we've been hyping this guy up for weeks, and then this happens, and it's just like, oh my God, that could like it's going to be critical getting him back in the car, and how does it hold up? Is he going to compensate for it? Is it going to be on his mind? It just he's got a tough
At
next
least
couple
for
weeks.
him, I guess luckily it was an incident outside of the car, not during the race.
No, but if you're thinking about it while you're driving, that could impact your driving.
Yeah, that is
That's what
what
I'm
can
afraid
throw you
of.
off.
But man, it's so brutal.
So I think we got to bring up, since we're on the Xfinity, Austin Hill,
Austin Hill. I knew that's where you're.
and again on hooking another car.
That guy, man, I tell you what.
Now they're racing up at the front, but the bigger question is, and it kind of goes through the whole weekend, Watkins Glen, there are no track limits.
Nope,
They put in some rumble strips and a couple of the turns to try to discourage the cars, but
they still do it.
doesn't matter. Now, if you're running track limits, even Zilisch and Van Gisbergen, they had a pretty SVG had a big crash too. Um, do those wrecks happen if they actually enforce the track,
I mean, I
or
think
does
you
it
could.
force the drivers to actually have to drive now?
I mean, I think you could. If you're, compacting everybody to a smaller space, I think you could see more incidents. I mean, you especially around turn one where you have that big runoff area and just the ridiculous going way out there. Packing everybody up into just the track limits through there, like especially on a restart.
But do you think that changes how the drivers approach it, knowing
Yeah,
that they have a narrower spot?
yeah, and I still think it's gonna lead to more problems trying to, especially like on restarts where they're packed together. It just takes one of them and dominoes.
And a lot of it, it's they're running those runoffs all the way out to the wall and edge of the grass, and then they're having to drive in. And if a car is, this is maybe what happened with the Austin Hill Michael McDowell incident, there's no room for the car to go. And if you're
That
racing, you almost have to just push your way back in.
that area exiting the boot, or where you would exit the boot rather, like before you get to turn six on the cup configuration, that is such a tight area. And we saw that when that big incident happened. You get a car turned sideways and you've got cars coming in and racing. I mean, there were collisions, there were several near misses through there. They had to red
And
flag
it's
it.
a spot too where the spotters don't have a really a view of it. It's on
Yep.
the driver.
And the Xfinity cars, they don't have the camera like the Cup car does. I mean, that's tough. I mean, it's just so many, and we've seen a lot of pretty bad accidents over the years at Watkins Glen, and cars getting shredded. And wasn't Jimmy Johnson's infamous crash where he got out of the car and went like that? Wasn't that at Watkins Glen?
Yeah, I think so. What, turn one?
Oh man, but yeah, it's just a wild, wild weekend on the Xfinity side. On the Cup
Do they need
side,
to change anything on the track or
I don't know. I kind of like the going wide, and I mean, it's just you get to that spot after turn one where you have to like compact pretty quickly again. There were some close calls there too in both races where people were just kind of through there, and
and I think the big argument, at least maybe coming from the fans, it's we go to Coda and they're cutting the S's and almost straight lining through there. And we talk track limits and we're going to officiate it. No, we're actually not going to officiate it. But then we go to a track like the Glen and it's, yeah, just go.
have fun, boys.
It's that like discrepancy in the tracks. Like what are we doing here versus there? It's almost like it's not consistent.
No, it's well, I mean, when has anything NASCAR ever done been consistent?
Never.
Never. It's so much like you go back and you think about like Jeff Gordon with the Jurassic Park car and just how dominant that thing was, and then like just arbitrarily banned it the next day because it was just too good. It's just like it's just NASCAR's thing. It's like they're just gonna call what they feel. They're not gonna ignore what they don't feel like calling. And we're coming up on the anniversary of the 2013 Spin Gate with Michael Waltrip Racing that was essentially destroyed that team. And I you hear the radio chatter. It's like, oh, it's getting hot in that car. You might want to take your hand off the wheel and itch yourself. Boyer spins out, and yeah, it led to the Robin Pemberton was on Dale Jr. Download talking about that. And like Mike Helton calls me and says, we got a problem. And he goes, I had to go up. We went up to Chicago and they brought in the TV crew. And in my hotel room, we're just sitting there watching this footage and listening to the radio chatter. And I mean, what a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what ultimately with the 12-team playoff where they brought Jeff Gordon in as the 13th car that year because of that incident.
Yep.
Wild. It just
Uh,
the other thing that was mentioned in that interview was they were negotiating with like FanDuel or something at that point. And you got essentially race fixing going on by a team, and then you're talking with like FanDuel, and it's like it didn't sink it, but it made it a harder sell. Uh, anyway, got Richmond coming up this weekend, and no Indy, no Formula One. So yeah, just a weekend trucks in Cup.
a little quieter. On the Cup side, SVG wins again. He's what, number two seed now in the playoffs?
Yeah.
And a lot of
Uh,
people are still like, he's 25th in the points. He shouldn't be there.
yeah,
And
and
he's got four wins.
he's got 4 wins, and
In this system,
it's
that's what matters.
it's a road course. He's a fraud. Like, get out of here.
What do you think? Can he get to the round of eight?
The Roval's in the round of eight, isn't it?
That'll be in the 12 round.
12? Oh, yeah, then he's getting to the round of eight. Unless
And
he
so he
gets,
should have enough playoff points that if unless he just totally bombs the first three races, he should be able to get through the cut line.
Yeah.
Then if he can win the Roval,
Unless he gets
he's in.
destroyed, he probably will. Yeah, I could see him into the round of eight. I don't know if he goes much further than that. Probably
Yeah, I
not.
don't think he gets top four.
Because Talladega is in the round of, yeah, Talladega would
Yeah,
be in
it
the
should
round
be
of
in
eight.
the eight.
Yeah.
There's a chance. Everybody's got a chance at Dega.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, could you imagine just right place at the right time, and now he's into the championship four?
Except we'll watch 20 laps of running four wide at quarter throttle and
I mean, as
fuel
as
mileage.
awful as that is, like from a racing standpoint, the fact that they could do 20 laps in four wide for that long without somebody screwing something up is really impressive.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's terrifying to watch, knowing that if just one person out of 37, 38 cars or whatever it ends up being in that group,
Yeah, you
uh,
slip just a little bit on entry or
you could take
exit.
the whole field out. Like the
Watch
whole
Atlanta
field.
again.
Yeah, you could be like nobody left. Like it'd be like Ricky Bobby all over.
Hopefully we don't see a Atlanta repeat
No,
where we
that was
take out
tough.
25 cars.
That was tough to watch. I mean, the end was exciting, but that was tough to watch.
Yeah, we need to get it. Denny was talking on his podcast again that this next gen car is starting to reach levels of hate of the COT.
All they need to do is put the big black spoiler on the back, and you're gonna get just total riots.
And I did see it mentioned. I went and looked. The Arca and Xfinity both have more horsepower than an next gen.
That's just.
Like we should be trying to step up every level, not actually downgrade.
Do you remember when the COT came out and Michael Waltrip started his own team and they were really bad? And he was doing Napa commercials. And it's like it's time for another episode of Ask Michael. And he pulls out he pulls a letter out of the box and he's sitting there and he's like, "Dear Michael, why did everybody else get the car of tomorrow and they gave you the car of yesterday?" He just kind of looks at him. He's like, "All right, like very
Eh,
funny."
we got to figure something out with this car.
Uh, but the thing is, what do they do? About 7 years on a car, roughly 7, 8 years
Or what, year
or
three?
three. It's like they finally figured out in the final year, and then we're gonna move on to the next car, which will suck. And it's like this. Did Gen 6, early Gen 6, have this many? I mean, I don't think it had this many issues
I
with
don't
it,
think
but there
so.
there were some issues. But
Every car is going to have some, but just that racing quality, you can't pass on tracks. It's so much of a spec series now that
then you have the
the field has,
Chevrolet.
you have too much parity in the field, which makes it even more difficult. Then if you don't have tire fall off too, that's why I still think that Bristol Spring Race was such an amazing race because
What?
you didn't know what was going to happen
Yeah.
with the tires.
On a related side note, the announcement Ram returning to the Truck Series. Apparently, they are having a hard time convincing truck teams to take them on. And one of the reasons why is, they've already, Dodge, Ram, they've been in the Truck Series, I think twice before. I think I
Hmm.
read twice before and have left. And they said, you really think it's surprising that a team doesn't want to go switch to you after you've abandoned the series twice before and kind of were a little lackluster as far as support goes towards the end of there. And they don't want to be fooled a third time. I'm really not surprised.
Hey, if they want us to come run the factory team, we'll get involved. Hey, Dodge, let us take your team
Yeah.
out.
Hey, yeah, yeah. Give us a car. We'll go set up a shop somewhere. We gotta find some money for that first, which might be a little difficult at the moment. But so
If we have support from Dodge and we got some good backing going in, so I think we could figure out something.
yeah, I mean we could find a driver.
There's plenty out there.
It might have to be Chris Wright, but Well, that just made sure Chris Wright will never agree to come on the show, but hey, whatever.
Yeah,
All right.
somebody's out there. We'll get them.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right. So thanks again, once again for tuning in. Tune in Richmond next week. I got a full slate of racing on Stadium Scene TV Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, 10 p.m. for all three, and probably Friday at 11. But at least Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, tune in for those. And thanks again for tuning in.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Take care.